Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 5 Tips and Tricks for Careers in Athletics. I am your host, Dr. Morey Mossovitz, with my favorite all-time best, one of a kind, the only, the stupendous Jen Albanese.
Wow.
Welcome, Jen.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. How's everybody doing? Morey, what's going on?
Excitement. I had to throw out my extra energy because our guest today is the epitome of energy. Fun times, guys.
Oh my gosh. It's too funny because when we talked about having Jason on, I'm like, oh, I have so many good memories of baseball in my childhood and in my, college years, and baseball is such a big part of my life. Always been a Yankee fan, grew up a Yankee fan, and Morey, I know you're not a Yankee fan, and that's okay. I'll forgive you.
I grew up in Baltimore, Orioles. My brother-in-law, my nephew, they're
yes,
the biggest Orioles fans you will ever meet. So we have a big connection with the Orioles. Personally, my wife is probably more Yankees person. We'll not tell that to my brother-in-law, but yes.
Oh yeah, definitely grew up. My dad, my nanny, everybody Yankee fans. But so I really liked, obviously, baseball growing up. So when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I started working down at the ballpark here in Syracuse when I was in high school.
The Chiefs?
It was the Chiefs at the time.
It was the
Chiefs at the time. Well, it was the Sky Chiefs, then the Chiefs, and now they're the Syracuse Mets. So when I worked there, I did everything. And, I'm sure we'll talk to Jason about all the different things you do in minor league baseball. But I did everything from working in the merchandise store to calling and doing sponsorships and cold calling for ticket sales, and I did the tarp, and I danced on the dugout and threw T-shirts and worked customer service. And so it was such a good experience for me. I always thought I wanted to work in baseball because it was just such a great experience. But what was really funny, and more, this story. So over the summer, they do at the ballpark, they do, different nights. And I think it was around the 4th of July, they do a kids run the bases. And a lot of teams do that, major league and minor league teams.
We do it with our softball team.
Exactly. We do it with our softball team. So, so we went to the ballpark, and I wanted Natalie and Michael, the kids, to run on the field. Well, Natalie, of course, is afraid and didn't want to do it. But Michael, we've talked about this in the podcast. Our boys are all about sports.
Absolutely.
Michael was so serious about it. He had all of his Yankee gear on. He had his sweatbands on his legs.
100 sweatbands.
100 sweatbands. And he was the second kid to run on the field. And as he was running the bases, and Jason, I'm sure he remembers this, literally said his name on the microphone and was like, okay, what's your name, buddy? And he said, Michael. He goes, all right, Michael, run those bases. And he was the only kid running the bases. Everybody was cheering. He was on the big screen, and it was a full circle moment for me. I could cry when I tell this story sometimes.
So you were definitely sobbing while he was doing it.
I have a video. We'll post it on our socials because it's such a classic, incredible video. But I'm literally screaming, go, Michael. And he's running the bases. He hit every base and then came right home and went right across home plate, and was one of the coolest moments. And John and I, our phones were blowing up. Everybody was like, Michael running the bases. Oh my God, so cool. And so it was a very full circle moment for me, core memory, all the things that I used to work at that ballpark. I used to be on that field. I used to work there and do that. And now my son got to run on the field. So it was my son.
For inside joke for anyone who lives in Syracuse and sees political ads, my son.
But it was very, very cool and a very full circle moment for me. So it was a good little moment in memory.
He loved it. He lives for that.
He still talks about it. And he's going to want to go back next summer and do it. And so, yeah.
Well, Jason now already sold at least 4 more tickets after that.
Exactly. So that's my baseball story. One of my favorite ones. So gotta love baseball. Baseball's a great sport.
National pastime.
That's right. America's game, baby.
America's game. Coming back to the Olympics in LA.
Yes, I think so. That'd be great. That'd be a good one.
Well, with that, we got probably the most energetic guest we probably ever booked. And we're very excited to have Jason on. So after this break, we'll be back with everybody. you're enjoying this podcast, please follow us on your favorite podcast streaming service. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast is a part of Athletic Career Consulting, a group focused on educating and guiding high school and college students looking towards careers in athletics. To find out more, go to our website at www.athcareer.com. That's ATHCAREER.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. Morey, would you like to introduce our guest?
Absolutely. Today's guest is a proud graduate of Bishop Grimes High School. He continued his education at the State University of New York at Fredonia and earned his master's from the United States Sports Academy. He began his journey in baseball in 1993 with the Watertown Indians, leading to roles in Batavia, Staten Island, and Auburn. After a decade away from sports, working with Hilti Incorporated, he made a triumphant return to baseball in 2013 with the Syracuse Chiefs. He has been the general manager of the Syracuse Mets since 2014, where he combines his passion for baseball with a deep-rooted love for his hometown. We're thrilled to welcome Jason Smorl to the podcast. Welcome, Jason.
Yay,
Hi, Jason.
thank you.
Hey, you're a fellow Cobra. I'm a Cobra.
Oh, I did not know you were a Cobra.
There you go.
Oh, my God. We might have graduated a few years apart, but...
Well, I am 29, as previously discussed.
Jen just had a big birthday, so you're pretty close.
No, shh, we're
I
not going to
think
talk about
Bishop
that.
Grimes was the bishop when I went to Bishop Grimes.
Don't say that. That's so funny. I didn't realize that. We're fellow Cobras here. Shout
A lot
out
of
to
sneaky
BG.
Cobras out there. I love
That's
it.
right. That's right. There's a lot of us out there.
So Jason,
That's awesome.
Jen and I have spent many an hour with our children in the stands watching the team and watching you. So it's always nice to get to the ballpark and see what's going on. So we really appreciate you coming here to hang out with us.
I appreciate you guys coming out. I've definitely seen you guys and the kiddos, especially
yeah.
the little Albaneses running around the bases. I think you were there on the 4th of July.
Yep, we were.
We had to buy, they made us play at 5 o'clock. We had to buy 4 hours until the got dark enough for fireworks.
That's right. I remember that. We had so much fun that night.
But
Oh my God, that was so much fun.
It worked, right? I mean, we had
It was great.
an hour of kids running the bases, but everybody loved watching them. The kids loved doing it. They're on the field. Time flew by. It was great. It worked out perfect.
It really was fun. It's one of our most favorite things to do in the summer. I mean, I feel like even if you grew up, I grew up here, so like going to the ballpark in the summer was stuff that I always used to do. So now that I get to bring my kids, it's pretty cool. So
yeah,
it's fun. We enjoy going. It's a good time. You guys have a great little show going on down there.
We appreciate what you do.
Technically, the most amazing show on dirt.
There you go.
There's my marketing friend right there. That's what
with
I
that,
like.
we're going to lead right into that first tip. So, Jason, what do you got for us on tip number 1?
So I did my little homework. I wrote my things down here. So number 1 is, I think it's tips on how to do my specific job, right? As the general manager of the baseball team. And I think these apply across the board to a lot of different professions. Number 1 for me is do the right thing, or do the job for the right reasons, and for us, that's a win-win-win mentality. It's got to be good for the fans. It's got to be good for the sponsor. It's got to be good for the players. It's got to be it'll end up being good for us as a team. So if you go about things the right way and do things for the right reason, I think that is one of the most important tips that I could give to people.
So when you're trying to do that winning mentality and make sure that it connects with everyone, how are you negotiating that? Like, how do you look at, making sure that it aligns with all these different stakeholders that you have?
For us, we're in the entertainment business more than we're in the baseball business. We don't control, the baseball. We can't select our own players. We can't control the weather. We can only control what we can control. So we say, hey, we want to put on the best show possible. We want to get as many people out here to the stadium as possible. And how do we do that is to have a great promotion. How do we have a great promotion? Well, what do the fans want? First and foremost, what do they want? They like fireworks. They like giveaways. They like shooting T-shirts into the crowd. They like the superstars. They like music when they come in. So all these things, we say, if we can provide a great giveaway, if we can provide a great ambiance, the fans are going to enjoy it in addition to the baseball that's going on the field. And then, we want to make sure, we have to find the right sponsor to help us provide all those things, and if they see our vision and they help us to bring in giveaways and entertainment acts and all this different stuff that we do, and we have full stadium, then the sponsor's happy, the fans are happy, we have a full stadium, the fans are happy. Hopefully we've sold a lot of tickets. That makes us happy.
Right.
Then there's stands are full of fans. The players, are more excited about that, energized about that, and it just becomes a win-win-win situation. And it all stems from wanting to do the right thing, just to put on the best performance that we can.
Awesome.
Yeah. I love that you said about how you can't control what actually happens on the field. I think people forget that. We can't control what happens at the game. We can't control what happens on the football field or on the baseball field. We can only control everything else that's surrounding it. So making that experience, so good for everybody, regardless of what happens on the field, that's going to have your fans coming back. And that kind of starts that win-win. I love that people forget
Last
about that.
year, and for us, we're not in the winning business because we traditionally stink at baseball. In the history of the Syracuse Chiefs and or Mets, I just completed my 11th year. I'm going into year 12. We've been good 3 times. And all those other years, and we're built. We literally designed this to be in last place. So this year we were fantastic. We were great. And last year we were second to last. Still can't believe how bad the Charlotte Knights must have been last year to be worse than us. And last year we had 330 some thousand fans, and this year we had 350 some thousand fans. So, we had 20 or 30,000 more fans, which is not that much. Despite whether we're good or we're bad, people just come. We had a little better weather here. We played a few more games, so our average is about the same. We average a little bit over 5,000 a night. We have 75 games, the nice boost is if we're really good at the end, which we weren't this year. We kind of tailed off there at the end, but we had a great season, and all we really care about is sunshine, because that's everything else. Because the staff works so hard, all we need is sunshine.
Yeah. Absolutely. The sunshine is key, man.
Absolutely. Well, awesome tip. Let's dive into number 2.
Number 2 is lead from the front. I don't ask anybody to do any job that I haven't done myself or wouldn't do myself. So I'm personally, out there, and that means anywhere from, picking up garbage, cleaning the stadium. You'll often see me on busy nights just jumping behind a concession stand and helping out.
I have seen that.
Just get those lines, and you just need, I can wrap a hot dog with the best of them. And sometimes they just need and tell some jokes and just lighten things up a little bit. So, you can't be afraid. Years ago, they asked me to speak at the 7 successful habits of successful people or something like that for Center State CEO. Yeah. And, and I wrote on there, you don't be afraid to get in the suit. Someone's got to be Scooch, and if no one's around, I was Scooch last year in the Veterans Day parade because we couldn't find a Scooch. And it was only 60 degrees out. I was dying inside. I can only imagine what it's like when it's 95 degrees out.
I can't. I never think about those suits in the middle of summer. That scares me every time.
Mascots are special folks, special people to do that, let me tell you.
I could do it for one day.
Well, at least Scooch, you can have height situations. Some mascots you have to have you have to be between this tall and this tall. I always find that to be the craziest thing of who is going to be the exact height for a mascot.
I'm too short. I can't do it.
If Jen ever gotten Scooch, it would just be a head and shoes.
Exactly.
Now we got to do that. Now I got to try that on.
Just to see what it is.
Yeah.
I know it's funny that you say be at the front of the line, be everything. And Jen and I believe that so much in what we do and watching. But we've always said that, minor league baseball is such a great proving ground to get experience and to really learn and get involved, because there's people like yourself that will show you what it is to be in the fields of athletics and to be in the trenches and to be those people that work hard and what it takes to really be in the field. So, it's an awesome tip. And just to hear you say that, it's really what makes sports what it is.
And it's contagious, they'll see, me do it and Pops do it and Katie Stewart do it. And, nobody's afraid to pull the tarp. Someone's got to go into the bathroom. Someone's got to go to the bathrooms. We hope Pops says yes. But if not, Katie Stewart probably will say yes. If they don't, so I'll just do it. I'll do it.
No.
Yeah, minor league baseball is a great training ground because you get your hands in everything.
Yes.
And you get to try everything. I mean, I did that. That's where I started. And you're picking up the phone doing sales calls. And then the next day you're up in the merchandise store, or you're, like you said, pulling a tarp, or you're throwing T-shirts on the dugout. Like, that is training that you can only get in minor league baseball. And you learn so much. And then once you do it, you can do it anywhere. I mean,
that's why I love it.
T-shirts and everything too. So
because we
awesome.
Get to do the marketing, and we get to come up with the designs, and we get to come up with the promotions, and we do it as a group, so everybody's got their hand in it.
Yeah, that's so great.
And you do it so well. We enjoy it. It's always entertaining, so you can't beat that at all.
I know. And you guys look like you're having fun too. I think that's something to be said too. Like, not that we're not having fun at SU, but like, when you go to like a Mets game, you're like, oh, everybody's just so happy, and everyone's like walking around and just loving life. So that's a great feeling. So
it's some sort of like, I don't know, it's like Stockholm syndrome. We're just at the stadium so much that
I know.
Yeah, it's like
home. It's home.
Welcome to our house. We're there so much.
When you can close your eyes and know where to go to without opening your eyes, you've been there a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like, I do that all the time. Don't do that.
Jason, another great tip. What do we got for number 3?
It gets back to kind of, the first one we touched on a little bit, but, I said, make a great product, control what you can control, and if then you believe in your product. We're literally, I say we're in the manufacturing business. We make memories and we build smiles, but we get to control our product. We get to show how pretty the stadium is, or how colorful the stadium is. We get to build the promotions. We get to train the customer service. We get to build the graphics. Everything about the Syracuse Mets we create the product so we can believe in the product. And then if you believe in it, it's so much easier to sell the product. If anybody wants to talk to me about Syracuse Mets baseball and why it's great, I can go on all day because I believe in it. I think that we are the most amazing show on dirt. We're the most affordable family fun. We specialize in people who don't like baseball. And if you like baseball, we've already got you.
Right.
It's the people that don't like baseball
Exactly.
that want to come for Dollar Thursdays or Superstars or fireworks or, company outings. That's just a unique place. So when you believe to your core about your product, it makes everything so much easier, and we get to control that. So you got to make a great product.
So just out of curiosity, how do you decide where you're going to put your investment? Like if you're going to do stuff at the stadium, or if you're going to go and say, hey, we want to bring in this outside group to come, like how do you draw that into your plans and develop that with your team?
We look at it and we talk about it, we spitball it, and we decide if there's a return on the investment, and say, on a normal night we'd have X amount of people, but what if we added, a jersey giveaway? What if we added a bobblehead giveaway? What's the result of that? All right, well, maybe people will line up and come in earlier because they love the giveaways, and they get in there, and so everything is part and parcel of it. We know that there's only so much you can do our product is different. We play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
6 days in a row is a challenge. I mean, the only reason that we're there 6 days in a row is we work there. But it's hard to get someone's family to come up 6 days in a row. So you got to keep it fresh. You got to do all kinds of new stuff. And we've all been together, so Katie Stewart has been there for my 11 years, and John Stewart, and Kathleen McCormick, and Julie Cardinale, and Bill Ryan, and Phoebe, and Will Camiso, and everybody. We've all been there, so we all know each other, and we all know what works, what doesn't work. Every once in a while, we get some new blood, which is good. Just throw some new eyes on it and say, challenge ourselves to say, what can we do? What adjustments can we do year after year to be doing essentially the same things, but somehow present them in a new way, and just keep it fresh. And sometimes we just wing it and hope it works. We're like, you know what? Let's try it. And if it doesn't work, what's the worst that's going to happen? And we're not doing brain surgery over there. It's like, oh, that was a bad idea. Currently, we just discussed it. This year, we're going to have a Catter Day. So we're going to have a day where we bring cats. We've been doing dog days. I've been talking about it for years.
Wow.
That we need a cat day, so we're going to do it. Everyone's decided it's a bad idea. We're going to try it. We're going to find out.
Jason.
That's amazing.
It's going to be on a Saturday. It's going to be called Catter Day.
Do you need to have your cat on a leash?
We don't know the details yet, but someone did ask that.
As an operations person, that was the first thing that came to my mind.
Leash or a box, and I have a guy walking around my neighborhood here with a cat and a leash. I assume he's going to be there.
Well, there you go. You got your first taker for Catter Day.
Oh my God! Well, literally, before you said Catter Day, I was going to be like, "What do you think is your best promotion?" But clearly, it's Catter Day. Let's just say.
We'll find out.
Yeah. No. But what do you think? Yeah. What do you think is like the most successful one that you guys do every year?
Fireworks are always a hit. And fireworks on Saturdays are better than fireworks on Fridays.
Why?
Some guy came into my office one day. He'd been working at minor league baseball for a million years. He had a book this thick, and we were just talking. He's like, "Yes, we found out in Fort Wayne that fireworks are better on Saturdays. So we started putting fireworks on Saturdays. And if we look at the numbers, fireworks are better on Saturdays."
That's
the guy
crazy.
Knew.
They're not bad on Fridays, but they're better on Saturdays. But for us, our big thing right now, our most successful stuff is the cultural heritage nights that we do. Irish night, Italian night, Pride night, the different Latino nights, our Juneteenth celebration. Haudenosaunee night is huge. That's a very specific one for our region.
Right.
And we do the Haudenosaunee night. We wear Haudenosaunee jerseys, and we have Haudenosaunee dancers and cultural there, and a pregame blessing, and Oren Lions and Sid Hills there.
Yeah.
And the Haudenosaunee people come from Canada, Buffalo, Albany, Pennsylvania. They do the jersey. It's one of the most successful jersey auctions we do, and it's just an amazing night. So,
that's awesome.
We're gonna probably add one or two different cultural nights. This year we went all out for Polish night. We had the Polish jerseys.
There you go.
And we had crazy Al Piatowski with his accordion as people came in, and we threw we played Who Stole the Kishka on the field. We didn't use an actual blood sausage. We just used a kibasi. But as far as anybody else knew, it was a kishka, even though nobody knew what a kishka was, other than crazy Al Piatowski.
We're going to have to bring our mother-in-law to that one.
She takes us to the Polish Fest every year.
Every year.
I love it.
We're going to need to bring her. She will love that. She will love it.
Shivets beer and pierogi. It was fantastic.
Pierogi,
awesome.
They'll love it. That's great. Well, that's good. Yeah, those are great. That's exciting. And you have so many games to be able to add and do all of those things, which is cool.
That's awesome. Okay.
We always say that we like the dogs the best. We have Polish people get one night, Italian people get one night, Pride gets one night, dogs get three. Cats only going to get one. The dogs still get.
Well, you know what?
The dogs still get
it
three.
It might change. We need an update and see how Catter Day goes, because
we'll come back to you next year and we'll see how many cat nights are coming the following year.
12 cat nights.
There we go.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Okay, number 4.
I think this is generic across the board. It's just listen.
Yeah.
And it's listen to your staff. It's listen to the fans. it's listen to your sponsors, and don't go in there trying to sell them on, Catterday. If you're listening to someone and they're having a conversation, this person says, I really want to do, I really want to do something with cats. I'll be like, I got something for you. But if you're not listening and you're going in there with a preconceived idea, preconceived notion, just to make sure that you're listening and listen to the fans. A couple of years ago, we just kind of sat down and we started talking to a couple of our season ticket holders, and they basically told us we lost our edge. We lost, what their perceived, value of being season ticket holders, that we were almost felt like they were being taken for granted. So, we recommitted to the season ticket holders, and we've really, launched back into that. And, just because we listened and then thankfully, they came up and said something. They're going to go out of their way to tell you something. You should listen and hopefully be able to act on that the right way.
Yeah, because those season ticket holders are your most loyal fans. So rewarding
they're as
them,
dumb as us. They show up every game.
And they're not getting paying you.
And they're not even getting paid to do it. So you gotta love them. They're great.
Yeah.
So Jason, you guys are so connected with the community, and clearly you gave examples of all these different things. How do you get out there and listen to those people that might not have come to a Mets game yet to say, hey, how can we bring you into the family? Like, how do you get that listening skill going?
I try to go out and speak to as many groups as I can. I'll hit the Rotary group. Anybody that invites me to speak, I will go and speak. And I've been in some weird rooms. And
hopefully we're not weird. Hopefully you're okay.
No, this is great. But I'll go with somebody. I'm like, who books these things? Which is me. So try to get out there as much as possible. We have great media partnerships, and I'm on Ted and Amy a lot, and I'll be talking to my wife in the grocery store, and the people in front or behind me like, I know your voice from Ted and Amy. You're that guy from the Mets. And I'm like, I'm that guy from the Mets. They don't know my name, but they know that I'm with the Mets.
You're there.
Yeah.
And just be as effervescent, get out there, and I'm always wearing Mets gear or Syracuse Mets gears to kind of start a conversation, and it could be a room of 400 people. I'm going to give some remarks to an innovation summit coming up with a room full of 500 people to say why Syracuse is great and welcome them to Syracuse. Or it could be hand-to-hand combat in the grocery store, one-on-one. Someone sees a Syracuse Mets, jersey, or just recognizes me, and we have a conversation. You just always got to be ready and always believe and always be closing and always be selling and just it's not really a hard sale. You're just inviting them to come to a game. Oftentimes I just dare them to come to a game. I dare you to come to a game.
Yeah.
I don't like baseball. I dare you to come to a game. I bet you're going to like it.
Yeah. And it's all back to listening. You're just listening to what they're saying, and that turns back into your other tips of like, okay, you've listened to the fans, now let's give the fans what they want. And then that keeps them coming back. So that's a good one.
We really find a lot of times that as despite all the advertising we do, billboards and television ads and radio ads, and digital ads and Clipper direct mailings and all this stuff, there's so many people that don't know what we do. They don't know they can bring their dog to the stadium. It's just hard to cut.
Or their cat.
Or their cat. It's hard to cut through the clutter, and so that's why it's, I always view this as opportunity, because, there's a chance that someone doesn't know that we're there. Someone that hasn't been to the stadium. There's people that don't even know that the stadium's been totally refurbished and it's gorgeous now.
Right. I find it crazy. We always talk about like all of our games outside of the dome are free, and it's like advertised so incredibly often. And I will probably once a month get someone to ask how much it costs to go to like a women's soccer game. And I'll be like, it's free. Come check us out. Like you can be there, support the team. They'll love you to be there. But you're right. It's getting through the noise and trying to make what I appreciate so much about you do, it's making direct connections with people, and that's what leads to success and bringing people into the fold.
Yeah, and you're always it's the battle is real, the struggle is real, and there's just a lot of competition for for people's attention, competition for people's dollars, whatever it is, and with us, we don't have a lot of, there's no competition really for us, of event wise in the summertime.
Right.
Our competition is going to camp,
Right.
travel baseball,
Right.
travel soccer,
Right.
travel volleyball, just time. And people say, oh, I meant to get out there for a game. Like, well, you only had 75 chances in 6 months. Maybe you'll make it out this year.
Maybe you'll hit it.
Be like, we're doing a catter day. Everybody's coming.
I think the dome full of cats sounds like a great idea.
Nope.
There's no way. I can't. I don't even want to bring it up to the senior administration over there. We've tried Doggy Day a couple times, and that's even been a pushback on our end. So
they're like, you guys got to stop talking to Smorl.
I will say Pete Sala, who runs the Dome, he's the biggest fan of Dog Day, but he loves it. But a lot of other people are all a little skeptical.
As long as you got Pete, you're good.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Right. That's so true.
Exactly.
So true.
Okay, Jen, this is your big claim to fame.
All right, yes, our big last question. So, what do you know now that you wish you knew then? So, what do you know now at this point in your career that you wish you knew when you first started?
What do I wish I did, and this is not even something I wish I knew. I'm just a dummy, and I wish I knew Spanish. I wish I knew, a second language, but specifically Spanish. And I've had 20 some years of working in baseball to figure it out. I've had 30 years to figure it out. How much better would it be with all these players that come from Latino countries, Latin countries, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Colombia, Venezuela, just to be able to communicate with them on a more personal basis? That's what I wish that I was pushed at. So I guess the answer is two things: Spanish, and I wish I was a dentist instead of working in sports management for the last 20 some years. But
stop.
It wouldn't be nearly as entertaining.
You
No, it
also
would
have
not
to
be. It
look
was
at
great,
people's mouths all day, and my mom
I
did
know.
that for her whole career. And I don't know how she did it. I was like, oh my god, it's awful.
Somebody just asked me that question the other day. Asked me if I knew Spanish, and it was just a couple days ago. I was like, no,
Yeah.
it's my biggest regret is I never took the time to learn it. With such a world game, and we have at any given point half the team speaks Spanish,
Speak
and
Spanish,
luckily
right?
most of them speak English, but not all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to get you Rosetta Stone, and we'll go out there and we'll try and I know a little bit of Spanish from high school. I can't tell you I know that much, but we'll have to help you get on the road to learn more Spanish.
I hang out with the Spanish guys. I talk to them. I speak a lot of Spanglish. We laugh, and I'm trying to speak my Spanish with them.
Yeah.
That's the start of it. You got to start somewhere. You keep going, and you build upon it.
That's a good one, though, when you think about that, especially in baseball.
Yeah.
To be able to communicate, because a good majority of the players, like you said, are, English is not their first language. So to be able to communicate that would be.
And I think it crosses all sports. And if you're thinking about
Right.
sport management and you're thinking about tennis, they're the Wuhan Open on television. I'm not entering the Wuhan Open, but there's tennis is global, basketball is global, baseball is global, football's trying to be global, rugby, golf. There's all these sports that the world becomes your oyster if you speak that other language. I speak French. Great. They play sports in France, and there's an opportunity for you there.
Yeah. You need to get in the Olympic movement. French. That's the second language of the Olympics. You get English and French. So
How great was the Olympics this year, though, in France?
That was pretty impressive.
Amazing.
We have a friend that is very active with the Olympic movement, and we always are digging into questions with him about what's going on. And he was there, and but it's pretty incredible.
It's fascinating to hear some of his experiences with that. But it was the way that they put that on. I'm so looking forward to 2028 in LA. That's going to be the coolest. To have it in the U.S. for the first time in a really long time is going to be incredible. It's going to be so cool.
And like you said, I think that the thing that's really interesting, and to bring us all back around, is athletics and sports. It's global. It's be a part of it. Think about how you can connect with it, because a lot of people think very much about like what's, that one thing that they're doing right there. They played, their sport through high school and then they did it in college. But at the end of the day, it's across this whole, world landscape. And there's so many opportunities out there that you might not even think of. And to do something like learn Spanish or learn languages can really open doors. So that's a really great tip.
See, you did a great job, Jason. Yeah. That was fantastic.
Yeah, yay. Awesome.
And I cannot wait for Catterday. If I haven't said that enough, I'm pumped.
You have got at least, and Jen doesn't even have a cat, so she's going to. Her mother has a cat, and I know what she's going to do. She's going to go to her mother's house and borrow her mother's cat.
No, I'm just going to bring my mother with the cat. I don't want to wash the cat. I just want to see.
That's what I'm talking about.
See?
I can't wait till we take pictures with Jen and her mother and a cat at the Mets game this summer.
With Jason.
I know there's. I'm the self-appointed king of selfies in Syracuse, so I will take a selfie with you.
We will definitely post it on our social media accounts. It's all coming back around.
I love it.
Love it. So there's going to be 2 people there. It's going to be like on a Saturday, and we're going to put this in like April or May. This isn't going on the 3rd of July. This is
I know.
She'll still be there. Don't worry.
All right.
Just the cat people will be all like, why'd you give us such a cold, rotten day? I'm like, we're just testing the waters.
Don't do it in August because there could be some conflicts with some sports for Jen. But if you put it in April, I bet you she'd be there.
We don't want the cats to get too hot, right? Nice, cool day.
Right, yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Right.
They could have sweaters. It could be a whole thing.
Oh, my gosh. We're going down a rabbit hole here.
Well,
there's no bad ideas. This is how the process works. This is how the sausage gets made. Just shout things out. They're like, yes, we'll have a contest for cat sweaters.
Yeah. So great.
So great.
Well, Jason, this has been so awesome spending time with you. Thank you for all your insights and being with us. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
This was great. Thank you so much.
Well, to all our fans out there, please make sure you check out our social media. Jen, throw out all of our hashtags and everything else we get there.
Yeah, so just make sure you're following us on all your social platforms at AthCareerPod and liking us on all your podcast platforms. And this was great.
We're on everything, Apple, Spotify. Make sure you get out and iHeart, wherever you can find a podcast, we're probably there. So make sure to follow us. And
all right.
We'll see everyone soon. Thank you.
Bye.
If you like the 5 Tips and Tricks podcast, make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. You can rate and review us, including questions that may be answered on future episodes. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast for careers in athletics is part of Athletic Career Consulting. Check us out at www.athcareer.com. Don't forget to follow and like us on your top social media platforms.